dim light of a forgotten attic, where dust motes danced in the air and silence hung heavy like a shroud, there lay a collection of dolls. Once cherished, they now rested in a state of disrepair, their glassy eyes clouded with neglect. But there was something unsettling about them, an energy that thrummed beneath their porcelain skin, waiting to be awakened. As night fell, shadows crept into the corners of the room, wrapping each doll in a cloak of darkness. It was the kind of night where the boundaries between the living and the lifeless began to blur. The creaking of the old wooden beams echoed like whispers, urging those who dared to listen to come closer. Many years ago, these dolls were made with love. Each stitch, each brush stroke, was crafted by hands that believed in the magic of childhood. They were meant to be companions, confidants of young girls who shared their secrets and dreams. But as time wore on, the laughter faded, and the dolls were left to gather dust, memories of joy replaced by the weight of sorrow. One evening, a curious child named Emily stumbled upon this attic, drawn by a strange pull, as if the dolls were calling her name. She felt an inexplicable connection to them, a sense of belonging that both thrilled and frightened her. As she reached out to touch the frail hand of a doll dressed in a tattered blue gown, she felt a shiver run down her spine. That night, as the moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow through the attic window, something began to shift. The air thickened, charged with an unseen energy. Emily, lying in her bed just below the attic, was suddenly awoken by soft giggles, like the fluttering of wings. She strained to listen, heart pounding in her chest. The giggles grew louder, morphing into whispers that echoed in the stillness of the night. "Come play with us," they beckoned, sweet yet sinister. Emily's curiosity overcame her fear, and she tiptoed up the creaky stairs, each step resonating with the weight of dread. As she entered the attic, a chill enveloped her. The dolls seemed to shift in the moonlight, their eyes glinting with an unnatural light. Emily felt a pull, a need to reach out once more. But this time, she wasn't just touching a doll, she was awakening something long buried. In that moment, reality twisted. The dolls began to stir, their limbs moving with an unsettling grace. Emily watched, both enthralled and terrified, as they seemed to come to life. The air crackled with energy, and the whispers intensified, swirling around her like a tempest. "Join us," they urged, a chorus of soft, haunting voices. The dolls, once innocent playthings, now embodied something darker. Their smiles stretched wider, revealing teeth that were not meant to be seen. Emily stumbled back, her heart racing. She realized too late that these were not the dolls of her childhood. They were vessels of something ancient, something that craved companionship in the most twisted sense. Panic surged within her, and she turned to flee, but the stairs creaked ominously beneath her feet. Each step felt heavier, as if the very house was holding her in place. The whispers grew louder, their urgency palpable. "Stay with us, Emily, forever." door slammed shut behind her, trapping her in the attic with the living dolls. She could feel their presence, a suffocating warmth that wrapped around her. Emily's breath quickened, and she screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the darkness. In that moment of despair, she remembered the tales her grandmother had told her about dolls that came to life. They were warnings disguised as bedtime stories, tales of caution about the dangers of playing with the unknown. But it was too late for regrets. She looked around frantically, searching for a way out, but the dolls had formed a circle around her, their eyes glowing with a fierce intensity. "You will be one of us," they chanted, their voices harmonizing in a chilling melody. As fear coursed through her veins, Emily felt a surge of determination. She wouldn't be their prisoner. She had to fight back. Gathering her courage, she lunged for the window, hoping to break free into the night. But the dolls were too quick. They reached out, their tiny hands grasping at her, pulling her back into their twisted embrace. In that terrifying moment, she realized the truth. The dolls were not just playthings. They were souls trapped within porcelain, yearning for release. They had been waiting for someone like her, someone with a spark of life to sustain their existence. As she struggled, Emily caught a glimpse of her reflection in one of the doll's eyes. She saw a flicker of the girl she once was, filled with dreams and laughter. But the longer she stayed, the more that light began to fade. Desperation gripped her heart as the doll's whispers grew louder, drowning out her thoughts. "You belong to us, Emily. Join us in eternal play." But deep within, a small voice urged her to resist. She thought of her family, her friends, and the world beyond the attic door. With newfound strength, she pushed against the dolls, breaking free from their grasp. But the dolls would not let go easily. They lunged at her, their porcelain faces twisted into expressions of rage. Emily fought back, shoving them aside, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. In a final act of defiance, she reached for the old trunk in the corner, a forgotten relic of the past. She flung it open and grabbed a dusty, old mirror. As the dolls closed in on her, she held the mirror up, reflecting the moonlight back at them. The light flickered and danced, illuminating their faces, revealing the horror that lay beneath their painted smiles. The dolls recoiled, their expressions shifting from anger to fear. "No, stop," they cried, their voices breaking in panic. With every flash of light, their hold on reality began to weaken. Emily pressed on, channeling her will into the mirror, forcing them back. "You are nothing," she shouted, her voice growing stronger. "You have no power over me." The dolls shrieked, a cacophony of sound that filled the attic, drowning out the silence of the night. The energy shifted, and with one final push, the dolls shattered into 1,000 pieces, falling to the ground like fragile glass. Silence enveloped the room once more. Emily stood amidst the remnants of the living dolls, her heart racing, breathless yet triumphant. She had broken their curse, freed their trapped souls, and reclaimed her life. With trembling hands, she opened the attic door and stepped into the hallway, leaving the darkness behind. As she descended the stairs, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. Yet, a lingering chill followed her. But the attic remained, a haunting reminder of that night, where laughter turned to screams and dolls danced in the shadows. The tale of the night of the living dolls would be whispered among children for generations, a story of caution and fear, echoing through the halls of time. And as for Emily, she never returned to that attic, but sometimes, late at night, when the wind howled outside and the moon shone bright, she could still hear the faint whispers calling her name, reminding her of the darkness that can lurk behind even the most innocent of faces. For in the end, the dolls were not just toys. They were a reminder that some things are better left undisturbed, hidden away in the shadows, waiting for the night to fall once more.